everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Amanda N, and today I'm talking about a requested topic, Nazis in Antarctica. Yes, this was actually a thing in World War II. Before we want to dive into it, I want to apologize if there's just a little bit more background noise than usual. Shouldn't be a problem, but if you hear it, I'm sorry in advance. Anyway, I had no idea that this was a thing, so maybe I'm just really behind the times here, but regardless, I can't wait to talk about this, so let's dive right in. According to History.com, the tale begins in the summer of 1936. Hitler had completed a 4-year plan to boost the German military and the domestic economy to be ready for war by 1940. He put Hermann Göring in charge, and then he developed a German fat plan to enable Germany to improve the efficiency of its domestic consumption of butter, milk, cream, lard, cheese, bacon, margarine, salad oils, all that good stuff. The idea was to find substitutes for these oils and fat-based products, in case imported sources were cut off, because, war. At the time, whale oil was one of the main ingredients for margarine, and Germans ate a lot of it. So to prepare for war, they needed whale oil, says Cornelia Ludeck, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, professor of the history of science at Hamburg University and co-author of the 2012 book, The Third Reich in Antarctica, The German Antarctic Expedition, 1938-39, with Colin Summerhays. They had to buy whale oil from Norway before, and they didn't want to spend the currency on Norway. They wanted to produce whale oil by themselves. Hitler was an evil, despicable man. I am not trying to dispute that at all in this video. However, one thing he was very known for during that time was boosting the economy in Germany. He did it to prepare for war, yes, and his policies gave him the ability to rise to power to commit the atrocities in later years. I agree with the Anti-Defamation League, who believes to write of Hitler without the context of the millions of innocents brutally murdered and the tens of millions who died fighting against him is an insult to all of their memories. Again, I totally agree with that. I have a Jewish heritage myself, so I don't want anyone thinking that just because I'm not necessarily talking about these evil acts that they didn't happen or they're any less valid or anything like that. One conspiracy that I don't know if I ever really want to address on my channel because I think it's so horrific is the World War II never happened conspiracy. Like, that kind of stuff is just really, it gets me mad. Anyway, tangent aside, it's pretty depressing to think that all these changes for the economy, even those that were beneficial, were only used to commit acts of genocide later. But as we mentioned, one of these changes was trying to produce whale oil. So Germany began building factory whaling ships to ply the Southern Ocean. At the time, commercial whaling had been decimated in the North Atlantic and North Pacific. German whaling ships were operating far from home, so the idea of establishing an Antarctic base seemed like a good idea. In August 1936, the German Foreign Office found some unclaimed territory in Antarctica between Norwegian and British zones, and an expedition to explore and claim the region between 20 degrees east and 10 degrees west. Part of an area known as Queen Maud Land took shape. The expedition was organized in the summer of 1938, led by Captain Alfred Richter, a decorated World War I naval commander who had married a prominent Jewish artist. He selected his crew for the secretive mission based on polar experience rather than his membership in the Nazi Party. After 3 months of repairs to turn the Schwarzwaldland into an icebreaker, the captain sailed from Hamburg on December 17, 1938, with a crew of 82 scientists, officers, and enlisted men, as well as 2 Dornier flying boats perched on catapults. There was one official Nazi on board, as required by the regime. He stipulated that everyone listened to radio broadcasts of Hitler's speeches around Christmas time, Ludeck explains. Everyone had to sit in the room and listen. There was one speech where there was some atmospheric disturbances, so they had to switch off the radio. The ship reached the Antarctic coastline a month later and began aerial reconnaissance using the flying boats. The mountainous region had never been explored, and the German scientists named it New Schwabenland after the ship. These flights had 2 purposes: to photograph the area for scientific research and cartography, and also to claim it for Nazi Germany. But things didn't always work out as planned. On one air flight, the crew was running low on fuel and was forced to throw out extra gear to lighten the aircraft weight. That included boxes of tiny metal swastikas, which were supposed to be dropped across that part of the Antarctica to cement the Nazi territorial claim, but those little swastikas were never recovered. Much of the expedition's science was either lost during the war or kept under wraps until it was finally published in 1958. Although tales of secret Nazi bases or lost Antarctic colonies still populate the internet and make good TV fodder, there's no evidence that Hitler had any further interest in the frozen continent after this expedition returned. So it's pretty interesting to think that Nazis, even before they were known for these horrific acts, went on an expedition to Antarctica to try and get whale oil for this fat program. However, there's also a lot more to uncover here. The thing is, over the years, many people have confused myth about the Nazis in Antarctica with reality. A lot of this comes from a supposed secret base discovered in Antarctica quite recently that Russians claim to have found. The Washington Post says, when state-run Russian news agency RIA Novosti released a report Monday that said Russian scientists had drilled into the deep, dark, and previously untouched Lake Vostok, a curious detail was buried further down in the story. That is, that German Nazis may have built a secret base there as early as the 1930s, but is there any truth to the Russian rumors, or is this a case of a news agency implementing Godwin's law? The longer a discussion goes, the probability of a comparison involving Nazi approaches. Taken another way, why isn't it enough to relish in the sheer awe of reaching 2.2 miles below the surface of Antarctica to explore a hidden lake? Discovery News scoffs at the idea of a Nazi base there, calling it Nazi paranoia and World War II conspiracy theories from Moscow. The Moscow Times dismisses the idea as just rumors. Most news sites, including the Post, ignored RIA Novosti's theory. A plethora of rumors maintains that Neuschwanland, again, sorry, I know I'm butchering that, wasn't abandoned by the Nazis after the first expedition, the Big Think writes. But for now, the rumors of a base camp on Lake Vostok and Neuschwabenland will remain just that, rumors. Or the setting for a future James Bond movie. Now, of course, this is the internet. There's always going to be speculation with rumors, especially if someone suspects a freaking Nazi bunker was just found in Antarctica. I mean, sure, it may just be a conspiracy theory, but it's more plausible than many others that I've seen, considering the fact that we can actually place the Nazis in that location. Other sources, however, insist that there's no official documentation that the Nazis even stayed there, and the construction would have been unlikely with the outbreak of the war. It does seem like this would have been a difficult task to take on. It's not as if Antarctica has the materials needed, so this may have been something nearly impossible to hide at the time. But still, plenty of speculation has been made. According to one source, a different version of these events has recently been published by Robert in a trilogy entitled Britain's Secret War in Antarctica. Robert claims not only that there was indeed a secret German base in Dronning-Maudland during World War II, but also that the British spied on it from their own secret base in Dronning-Maudland. He claims that the British Army's SAS attacked and tried to destroy the German base around Christmas 1945. According to Robert, that attempt was ineffective, as were the subsequent attempts by the USA's Operation High Jump, and the German base was finally destroyed by secretly exploding 3 atomic bombs above it in 1958 as part of the activities of the IGY. Robert claims that the truth about the German base and the attacks on it by Britain and the United States have been deliberately suppressed by the US and British governments. This supposed suppression he describes as a travesty of history. And the thing is, personally, when I first read this, I thought it was kind of ridiculous, at least once he got to the point about the atomic bombs exploding in 1958. I thought, no way would that happen and we don't learn about it, but there is actually an element of truth in all of these tales. The Germans did intend to build a base in Dronning-Maudland. There were secret British bases in Antarctica during World War II. Operation High Jump was primarily a military exercise whose results were initially classified and hidden from public view, and 3 secret nuclear explosions did supposedly take place in that general region in 1958. But can these facts be woven into a comprehensive tale with a common thread, as many authors on the topic would have us believe, or are they merely groundless parts of the Hitler survival legend of Nazi mythology, as Godric Clark suggests? I'm really not completely against this conspiracy theory, even if I don't fully buy it. However, my big question is why? Why are these beliefs suddenly gaining popularity and attention after decades and decades of silence? Of course, there's the argument that now, with the technology we have, comes more conspiracy theories, and internet groups only serve to fuel this. We've talked about the data void on this channel before, which could be a contributing factor, but interestingly enough, even if both of these can fuel this conspiracy theory fire, one source argues that this isn't at all the main factor. It reads, many of these beliefs actually come from flat earthers. Flat earthers often propose that it is illegal to go to Antarctica, and it has a constant military presence. That's why none of them can go investigate if the ice wall is out there. There's a subgroup of Flat Earth who believes that part of the reason you can't go to Antarctica is because of the Nazi base there. Being a part of the Flat Earth community is what allows them to sustain these beliefs. They have a whole community to engage with and back them up. The idea that the Nazis built a secret base there is not really based in evidence. To date, there has been nothing concrete found to support it. Its believers, this source says, are simply engaging in confirmation and are misinterpreting what they claim is their evidence. Most of the believers are also a part of the Flat Earth community, and this is what gives them the support to continue in their beliefs. This is just one of the conspiracy theories surrounding the mysterious continent of Antarctica, and like many other theories, it is a long way from being confirmed. So, in short, I really wouldn't say that this is true or likely, and again, far from confirmed, but it's a conspiracy theory that falls into the realm of possibilities, which is far more than I can say for quite a few of them, quite a lot of them, really. I should correct my own script there, quite a lot of them. But thank you so much for watching. I'm actually really curious for your opinions on this one because, again, this one is one that I feel like you could probably convince someone to look into a little bit more, if you know what I'm saying. This falls into the realm of possibilities. That's the only way I can describe it. But again, anyway, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did like it, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button down below. Again, leave me a comment, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I don't really know if there's a bell button down there or if that would do anything for you guys. We're still pretty small here, so maybe share if you think someone else would enjoy this video. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!